Hello and welcome to episode 3 of you watching me cook myself dinner. Tonight's a little different because I'm also cooking dinner for my wife, so it's not just me. Crazy concept. Also different tonight, normally if you'll recall from our previous episodes, we either have technical problems, which hopefully we won't have tonight. This is number 3, so maybe that's all worked out now. But also, instead of whiskey, we're not drinking any whiskey. There's just too much whiskey drinking. I mean, Makers is great and all, but we're not doing that. Instead, tonight we're drinking vodka. Not just any vodka. I'm actually going to make a martini. Now, I was going through all of my cabinets here, and as it turns out, I don't actually have a martini glass because that's how pro I am with the alcoholing. So, instead, I'm going to be using this stemless wine glass because it's, a glass. So first things first, we want to take the wine glass here and actually fill it with ice. Why do we fill the glass with ice? Well, it's actually not just ice. We're going to add ice and water. Delish. Okay, so mixing ice with water, we're just going to let this sit the whole time we're preparing our cocktail to let the glass chill. I don't have any vermouth either, so this is going to be a really good kind of martini, the kind that just has vodka and olive juice. So let me get some olive juice. I mean, that, I guess, could be a thing in this preparation. Oh yeah, and olives too. Should have olives. All right, so we've got olives, we've got olive juice, and I need some way to measure because I'm not a pro and I don't have a thing on my bottle to measure out like an ounce or whatever and stuff. Here's a thing to do the shaking. It needs some ice. Let's put ice in there. Yeah. Lots of ice. Oh, so much ice. Are you tired of ice yet? Okay, here we go. Thing full of ice. Get our Absolute. I normally would prefer Kettle One, but you know what? I have Absolutes. That's what I'm gonna drink. It's crazy how that works. Okay, I don't know, 3 shots. That seems like a reasonable amount to drink while cooking. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's one. Oh, I should note, while we're doing this, I'm preheating the oven to 425. We're going to need that for our special vegetable friend that we'll be cooking alongside of our sausage pasta tonight. All right, what was that? That was 1, right? Okay, so 1. More vodka. That's 2. 1 more. 1 more for good times. There it is. All right, we'll call that 3 ounces. I don't know how much olive juice. Maybe about an ounce. Squirt bottle here. Yeah, that seems about right. Great. All right, so we're having a martini that consists of olive juice and vodka, and that's the best kind of martini because what's the vermouth for? I don't actually know. I didn't invent the thing, and I don't know. Okay, I also don't have a cocktail shaker, so I'm doing what I've seen people do in bars. Now, I've never worked in a bar and have no bar experience, so this is kind of a guess, but I've seen people like stick a glass inside the shaker and then like shake it, and that's getting everywhere. Yep, really getting everywhere. This is not how you do this. This is turning out horribly. Okay, fantastic. I think I need to wipe this all up because I got vodka and olive juice everywhere. Okay, and I'm not even drunk yet. Man, this is really bugging me. All right, that's out. And let me get the strainer. I got a strainer thing. All right, take the ice water, we're dumping that. I now have a chilled and frosted stemless wine glass that I will use to house my, let's call it a martini. Really just vodka with olive juice. Shaken over ice. Super simple. Okay. This is done. That's ready. Okay, so, olives. Can't forget the olives. Let's stick some in there. What's the correct number of olives for a martini? That is an interesting question. Let me tell you the answer. As many as the bartender will give you. So, whatever that happens to be. All right, let's move the booze out of the way just for a moment here and actually wipe up a bit. All right, so as you may be aware, or may not, I don't know. I don't know when you're seeing this or what. But here's the deal. Tonight we are making a sausage Parmesan pasta that Sam, the cooking guy, I saw him make this on TV back in, let's call it 2008. So it's been a while since I saw him make it. When he did it, he did the dish and then he made a wedge salad by basically just cutting an iceberg, a head of iceberg lettuce into sixths or eighths or quarters or whatever the heck he did. And then he made his own blue cheese dressing, which was, if I recall, just some sour cream mixed with mayonnaise. And then you toss some blue cheese and a ton of pepper in there, and you mix it all up, and that's blue cheese dressing, right? Simple. He poured that shit all over the iceberg, maybe with tomatoes or something like that. Called it a salad. And I guess that is kind of what a wedge salad is, right? So we're not making the wedge salad. I am gonna have a separate salad later, which is just gonna be tender butter lettuce, which is amazing. If you don't know about butter lettuce, you need to learn about butter lettuce, because that's the lettuce to eat right there. I'll tell you what. And I'm probably also going to drown that in blue cheese dressing because, you know, health, and maybe add tomatoes. But tonight we're doing a sausage penne pasta, except I'm not using penne because I do that low carb thing. What I use is this stuff right here. What do they call it? Pasta Zero. It's made out of a vegetable of some kind that's been basically extruded into noodle shape and requires no cooking whatsoever. This is spaghetti shaped. They make angel hair and other things. It tastes a little strange. It does, I'm not gonna lie. And the texture is not quite spot on, but you know what? It has no carbohydrates at all. Well, I mean, it does some, but it's dietary fiber. So there's like literally nothing in it. It also has pretty much fuck all for calories too, if you're into that. But oh, dude, that's actually pretty good, considering it's literally straight up vodka with olive juice. Wow, tasty though. Loving it. Okay. If you're gonna make this dish with actual pasta, I would recommend rigatoni. I like the rigatoni. Sam, the cooking guy, he used penne. I guess you could use penne, but really rigatoni is where it's at. You want a tube so that you can stick the sauce. The sauce goes into the tube and it stays there. So when you're biting on that, when you're biting on those tubes, you know, they're full of sauce and other goodies, and that's delicious. So that's really what you want to do if you decide to make this on your own. But again, since I do the low carb thing, you know, it's going to be low carb. Okay, mise en place. Get your shit together before you start cooking. All right, so what do we have here for ingredients? I have a pound of Italian hot sausage. Alternatively, instead of using a hot sausage, if you want a little bit of heat, you can just add some red pepper flakes and so forth into the goop that we'll be making prior to adding the pasta to said goop. I guess you could call it a sauce. I'm just going to go with the hot sauces. This sausage is not exceptional. It is actually kind of meh. So, you know, maybe get something better. What you could do is get good sausages, you know, not like this shit here, but actually good sausages. Then you just slice the casings off and you're left with the meat. You want about a pound of meat. So I got a pound of sausage meat right there, and it's hot. So we'll see how that goes. I have a pound of pasta. So your pasta of choice, mine is fake pasta. Like we talked, we already had this discussion. We don't need to rehash this. We've already been there and talked about it. All right, so you know what to do. Get a pound of pasta. We will need a cup of heavy cream, because everything I've cooked is creamy, right? I mean, you know. And you need, I don't know, like a half cup of Parmesan cheese just to go in the sauce, and then more for garnish. And for fun, we'll be throwing a little bit of this Italian parsley in there towards the end. We don't want to wilt it or cook it. Oh, and you need a shit ton of butter. This is like 3 tablespoons of butter. Always need a lot of butter. And some garlic. I got a couple heads of garlic. In fact, the first thing I'm going to do here is actually mince up the garlic after taking a drink of my martini. Sounds like my oven just preheated, which is good, because the magic mystery vegetable is going to take like 20 freaking minutes in the oven. And when it comes out, I might even cover it in Parmesan cheese. I don't know. The Parmesan cheese is just like a thing tonight. Really good. You know, it's one of the better cheeses, I think. I mean, you can't like eat it. Have you ever tried to eat like a chunk of Parmesan? I mean, I guess it's okay, sort of, right? For like small chunks of Parmesan. But you're not going to eat, you know, 8 ounces of Parmesan cheese as a chunk. Hey, that's the oven saying it's ready. All right, so let me hit the pause button on the garlic here. We'll move on to our mystery vegetable, which is one of my favorite vegetables. I'm going to use this bowl right here. I've already got it cut and pre-washed, pre-rinsed, whatever. This is Brussels sprouts. Hooray! And this is going to be a simple recipe of Brussels sprouts. I'm going to roast them. That's about all there is to it. So all I did was cut them in half. You can cut them into quarters or whatever shape of Brussels sprout you like. There we go. Out of the colander into the bowl. Now I'm going to add some EVOO. That's like, what's her face? Rachel, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Is she even on TV anymore? I don't know. just covered everything in olive oil. And that's fine. I mean, you know, whatever. I'm just going to work that in there a little bit, make sure everything's kind of coated in oil. Why do we do this? Well, we want these things to get kind of crispy. Brussels sprouts, like the little leaves that come off, like when you cut the thing up, they get really crispy like potato chips, except they're not potatoes, they're Brussels sprouts. And Brussels sprouts are good for you, and potatoes are, you know, just maybe kind of delicious, but maybe not good for you. I don't know, right? I'm not a dietitian. Anyway, this takes like 20 minutes. So sticking this onto my baking sheet right out of the bowl there. Spread it out. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, and my hands are just covered in oil. This is, wow, so oily. Cool. Okay. All right, so let's get the timer going here. I don't know what the timer is. I'll just use my watch, I guess. Hopefully I remember to check it because I'll be drinking this quasi-martini thing. That was a good call. I'm going to be honest. I like that a little bit more than the whiskey. At least makers, you know. Okay. Anyway, here's our Brussels sprouts on a tray with a silicone pad underneath it so stuff doesn't stick to anything. You could, of course, you know, line it with aluminium or something else. I don't know. I don't really know what the techniques are. Just get one of those silly pad things. They're freaking great. All right, so that's going to take 20 minutes. While that's going, I'm going to finish off with the garlic here that we were working on previously. Yeah, getting garlic out of its skin is actually not that bad. You just kind of smash it with your knife real quick, and that breaks up all the skin, and then you just kind of take it out. If you have a ton to do, you can stick it. Here's a pro tip. If you have a ton of garlic that you need to, you know, kind of peel, you can stick it inside of a thing of Tupperware, put a lid on it, and then shake the shit out of it, and eventually all the skin kind of comes off, and you're left with just like these perfect little garlic things. Yeah, I know, right? Because peeling garlic is a major pain in the ass. All right, so I'm just gonna mince this up. When mincing, it's important not to cut yourself. When you mix your own blood with food that you eat or serve to others, it's generally frowned upon in our culture. I'm sure other cultures it might be acceptable, but here in the U.S. of A, and probably most Western countries, I would say, probably not a good idea to commingle your platelets and other blood-based materials, i.e. your blood, with the food that you're preparing. It's kind of not a thing people are into. All right, so I'm using a thing called a rock chop. You can Google that on your own. Jamie Oliver has a little video where he teaches children how to do it, so I'm sure you can learn too. Easy enough. Okay, so we have this pan going here. I'm going to light the stove without blowing up the house and just get this to medium and get Mr. Olive Oil going here again. Yeah, we just need a little bit of oil, whatever that means. Olive oil is not bad for you, so, you know, eat it up. It's fine. It's like heart healthy and stuff. It's like eating salmon, right? Eat as much salmon as you want, I guess. People tell me this. I don't actually know. Again, I'm not a dietitian. That's not what I'm doing here. Okay, so here's the game plan. That oil's going to heat up a bit. And after it's at a temperature, I don't know, some temperature, I'm going to dump all the meat in there. And then I'm going to saute all the meat until it's pretty much not pink anymore. When it's not pink anymore, then the garlic goes in. We let that do its thing for a little bit. Then we're going to add the cream. And we're going to let that kind of simmer for a while and let them all kind of get to know each other and kind of get the fat and all that goodness from the sausage, all the seasoning that's in the sausage, infused into the cream, which becomes kind of the basis for the sauce. While that's happening, I'll prep the noodles. In your case, if you're actually eating real noodles, that's when you would drop your noodles into the water. And when the noodles are done cooking, that's about the same time that the sauce is going to be done cooking. So however long that takes for your noodles. If you have really fresh noodles that really are only going to take like 2 minutes or 3 minutes to cook, then maybe let the sauce kind of sit for 5 minutes or so before you drop them in the water. In my case, since I'm not eating real noodles, I'm eating fake noodles, aka extruded vegetable products. They don't need to be cooked, but they do need to be rinsed to kind of get this, I don't know, this juice that they come packaged in kind of rinsed off that has a little bit of an earthy flavor. They say earthy. I'm going to call it funky. It's got a funky flavor. We don't want any of that. So we're going to give it a good rinse in the colander there while the sauce is getting to know itself. And then pasta goes in the sauce, add butter, add Parmesan, mix the shit up, add a little bit of the green stuff over there. We'll dice that up a little bit just for color, and maybe, I don't know, yeah, let's just call it just for color. And that should be it, good to go. All right, so first things first, this looks ready to go. The oil is a shimmery kind of look. All right, so let's get our high quality bulk hot Italian sausage. You know it's good when it says bulk on it. Anything that's bulk is the best quality of its kind. It's like going to Costco. You know that the best things are at Costco, right? Like, you don't need to go to any luxury retailers for your patio furniture. It's totally unnecessary. Costco sells patio furniture. They also sell clothing, and it's great to show up at work and be dressed exactly like somebody else who's also a cheap bastard and gets their clothes at Costco, wearing the Kirkland brand dress shirts and so forth. Not that that's happened to me, except that one time. All right, here we go. Meat goes into the pan, into the oil. And it's not making a sizzly sound because it's really not that hot, and I need to make it maybe a little bit more hotter. Ooh, here we go, sizzly sound. Okay, I'll throw this in the trash because this is garbage. My producer's saying something in my ear, and I'm going to ignore her because I don't deviate from the script on the show here. I can't do that improv thing. Okay, here we go. We have people watching? Hey, there's people watching. Oh, okay. All right, so apparently Kara is watching. My producer is telling me this. I need to say hello to Kara. By the way, most of you don't know who Kara is, but she sang me happy birthday on my birthday, and that was a very meaningful experience. I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh, yeah, and also Austin. Austin, I know you're out there. Austin also sang happy birthday on my birthday, and... Wait, it's Austin's birthday? Happy birthday, Austin. I'd sing to you, except I don't sing. It's not a thing I do. I do the saxophone, but not the sing. Yeah. It's like the same, but not at all the same. Okay, we got the meat in the thing. I need to get a spatula doohickey here so that I can kind of break it up and brown it. Because that's what we're doing. We're breaking and browning. This smells like the quality bulk ground up sausage meat that it is. You ever hear that phrase, you don't want to know how the sausage is made? There's a reason for that. Basically, they just take animals and grind them up. Like the whole animal. Trivia question, what was the name of the pig in Charlotte's Web? Does anybody know that? Anyone? No? No one's commenting? Nobody knows the name of the pig from Charlotte's Web. Was there even a pig in Charlotte's Web? Anyone? No? I don't know. Oh. Pigs are delicious. Isn't it weird that some animals are just delicious? Right, and some animals are less delicious. I don't know why. Shouldn't all animals be equally delicious? Why do they fundamentally taste different? Like, why does chicken fundamentally taste different than beef? I mean, I understand their muscles are constructed differently, and one's got, white colored meat, and the other has red colored meat, I guess. But why does that matter? I mean, actually, if you think about it, that sounds like a whole bunch of BS. Because if you think about pork is white meat, right? But pork tastes good, and chicken tastes like shit, and beef tastes good. So why does the red meat of the beef taste good and the white meat of the pork taste good, but the white meat of the chicken does not taste good? Is it like a fat content thing? And if it's a fat content thing, maybe we're onto something. If it's the amount of fat in the thing, okay, stay with me here. This is total next level stuff. If it's the fat content of the food that makes it taste good, then like penguins or blue whales will be delicious. We should eat blue whales. It makes sense, right? They're just full of fat, and that means they're full of flavor. So I think what we need to do is hunt blue whales or whatever the verb is when you're talking about catching them in the ocean. You don't fish for them, right? There's no like line and reel, or I don't know, whatever. But we catch some blue whales, using a boat somehow. Maybe dynamite. I think you might need dynamite because they're pretty big. Maybe baby ones. Okay. Baby animals tend to taste better than adult versions of the same animal. So what we really want is baby blue whales. Okay, so we get some baby blue whales, and we go on a boat, and we use dynamite to hunt these baby blue whales, and then we put them on a spit over a fire and roast them to let the fat just kind of like get in there into the meat and really flavor it. And maybe parfum it with some thyme and lemon or something like that. I don't know. That sounds like it could be really good. Has anyone tried that? I know. Some native peoples might have eaten whale, or even like the whalers of the olden days who were trying to find ambergris. Yeah. If you want to know about something gross, there's this thing called ambergris. And it's spelled funny, but you could probably Google it and like autocorrect your way into it. But there's this thing called ambergris, and it used to be like super valuable. Like if you had a wad of ambergris, you could sell it for a ton of money, right? And what it is like this like regurgitated shit that whales would cough up. So like whale phlegm, like a whale would like hawk a loogie into the ocean. Or something, and that was called ambergris, and it was super expensive. Like you were like high fashion, rocking your ambergris like pennant or whatever. All right, so back to the cooking. I've been breaking up this sausage meat the whole time while I'm cooking it here. This is super fun. I love just breaking up meat while it's cooking, and you can't see it from there, I'm sure, but from this point of view, I can see that there's pretty much no pink left, which is my cue to add all this garlic that I minced up. Get that garlic in there. Kind of put that all up in there. Now you notice I haven't seasoned it at all. There has been no additional salt or pepper added yet, and the reason for that is I'm assuming that this highest quality bulk Italian hot sausage has been seasoned. I mean, that's kind of the point of sausage, right? Like it's been seasoned, right? Like that's what they do. They mix ground up animal bits, like their lips and buttholes and stuff. And they take all that and they add seasonings, and then they stick it inside more animal guts, specifically their intestine, or some synthetic version of intestine. And I don't know, they do things with it. They boil it, they leave it raw, they can cure it, let it sit out in a thing for a while. All right, it's been 12 minutes since the Brussels have been added to the oven. They're about halfway done now. In fact, we are probably a little more than halfway done. We're getting close. I'm starting to smell the garlic. It's parfuming, right? So I'm gonna let that go for just another minute here and really let that perfume. I'm gonna stop molesting it so much and just kind of let it sit for a second. Give me an opportunity to have some of this martini. Yeah. I was just thinking this would be really weird if there was no background music and I just kind of stopped talking for a while. Luckily, there is background music. Okie dokie. Moving on. All right, so my garlic, we don't want raw garlic because that tastes kind of, odd. We want it to heat up and release its oils. I can see most of the chunks are kind of integrated in there now and browned a little bit. I'm just going to give this, just a little bit more time. A little bit more time. Meanwhile, this literally straight vodka that I'm drinking, I can feel that starting to kind of kick in. So if my speech gets a little slurred, you're just going to have to give me a pass. It's a thing. Ah, man, that is delicious. I think the problem with this particular wine glass is that all of the olives just sunk to the bottom. I didn't put them on a skewer or anything because, you know, I'm not really paying attention to stuff like that, like details. Yeah, let's call that a detail. I'm not really paying attention to the details. So, yeah, kind of screwed there. I'm going to have to drink the whole thing before I can even access a single olive, which I don't know. That's not really disappointing. That's not really the right word, but it's not really what I was expecting to have to do here, to be honest. All right, that smells great. It's probably great. It's probably right. Here we go. Heavy whipping cream. The best kind of cream. Yeah, make sure it's not rotten. This is about a cup, I think. Yeah, 8 ounces is a cup, right? So we'll call this a cup. So I'm just gonna, oh yeah, gurgly, pour that on in there. Get all of that goodness in there because cream is delicious. It's the best part of the milk. The rest of the milk is water, as far as I'm concerned. So you can't see this really from your angle. Maybe you can. I don't know. Look closely in the corner. What I see here is basically white creaminess and like oil and other things that are orangish and stuff. So what I'm going to do is give this a mixy poo. The temperature has dropped substantially because this cream was cold when I added it to the pan. So any kind of cooking action is delayed, on hiatus right now. It's on a little bit of a sabbatical. But we'll give it a few minutes here and it'll come back up to temperature. We're at almost 15 minutes in the oven time. So if you're cooking along at home, which you're probably not because you didn't have the ingredient list ahead of time and so forth, but if you watch this video later and you're going to cook it yourself, because like no bullshit, this is a really delicious meal. Like I don't know how many times I've cooked this since I saw it first in 2008. A dozen times? 4 dozen times? Yeah, 4 dozen times seems about right. I'd probably cook this, I don't know, 4 times a year maybe? 3 times a year, something like that. It's really good. Like, wow. I mean, if you like good tasting food. If you don't like good tasting food, like you're a vegan or something like that, then obviously this is not going to work for you. But if you're a normal person and you do enjoy the pigs and whatnot, this is a delicious treat that you can enjoy all the time, and I encourage you to do so. All right, so, oh yeah, I went on that whole tangent thing. If you were cooking with like real pasta as opposed to pseudo pasta like I'm doing, this is when you would add your pasta to the water, because when the pasta is done, that's ready for you and we'll continue with the dish. I have no pasta. I'm gonna drink instead, and then, yeah, probably give my pasta a rinse because it's gonna taste, you know, weird. It's gonna taste weird. Yeah, we don't want. I don't want it to taste weird. Erica hates this stuff, by the way. But that's too bad because I'm cooking. Hey. Oh, God, that martini is great. Okie dokie. Let's do the thing with the pasta. Let's the stuff out of my colander. I mean, it's so nice to turn my back to a camera while I'm live streaming on the internet. That's so totally what they do, like professionally and stuff. I've seen it all the time. Just kidding. Okay, so I got my fake pasta in a bag, which again is, I think it's a beet, like a Japanese yam or something, right? Ingredients: water, cognac flour. That's spelled Konjac. Cognac flour, chickpea flour, and potato starch, and calcium hydroxide, which is probably an anti-stick or preservative. I don't know, I'm not a food scientist. Okay, so basically looking at the nutrition facts, this is a ½ pound of noodles. And this ½ pound of noodles has 10 total grams of carbohydrates, but 5 grams of dietary fiber. Dietary fiber is great. It keeps you, you know, eating fiber. And so if you're looking at net carbs, like as keto people do, that means there's only 5 grams of net carbs. If I eat a full pound of this stuff, 2 bags, 10 whole grams of net carbs. Wow, that's like Atkins acceptable, though I'm not doing the Atkins thing because that's just like not eating any vegetables, really. All right, even though I am going to be rinsing this stuff up, I do need to give this stuff a stir once in a while because cream has a tendency to either grow a film on top or bubble and foam and do other things that are unattractive. Just mixture. Okay, so for these things, I just take scissors, I open it over the sink, dump it into the colander, and give it a rinse. The other problem with this particular fake pasta stuff is that they're all kind of bunched up. So if I were just to like dump these into the pan and then like try and eat it later, I would get like a clump of these like super integrated noodles that are impossible to pull apart and really not awesome as a consequence. Let's just kind of get us a little bit of attention here. It's starting to thicken up, which is great. I might have the heat a little high, so I'm going to turn that down a little bit. And in about 1 minute, it's going to be time to check the damn Brussels sprouts to see how they are doing. Now, if you recall, the Brussels sprouts, all I did was add some olive oil, toss them in that stuff, and then throw them in the oven at 425. All right, so give these noodles a rinse because they taste weird otherwise. You know, there's other companies that make this stuff, and you can buy their things at like Whole Foods, but I didn't go to Whole Foods. I went to Vons because they deliver, and it's like stupid cheap, like ridiculously cheap. Okay. Some good rinsing action here. Oh, so much rinsing. I'm going to be so tired of rinsing. Okay. Yeah, the more we rinse, the better, because then the less it tastes like weird things. Whatever those weird things are. Unfortunately, they don't make this fake pasta in a, in a hole. They don't, like an extruded tube. There's no tube version. There's no macaroni version. Macaroni actually might be pretty tasty too. Yeah. Rigatoni though, I mean like no joke, rigatoni. It's the way to go. In fact, they have these, I saw them at the store a long time ago. They have these rigatonis that instead of being, 2 inches are only like 3/4 of an inch or half an inch. That would be pretty dope, I think, because it still has the tubular nature to accept the sauce into the tube, but it's a little bit smaller so that you don't have to eat this ginormous 2-inch rod every time you take a bite. You can have a much smaller bite, and that seems like it would be appealing. It really does. I've never had the little ones, but I've seen them. They might have a name. Somebody probably made up the name. I'll bet you, like all of those names that sound Italian-ish for these fake pasta things are not actual names. Like yeah, whatever they call them. I don't know what they call them, but whatever. All right, it's 21 minutes. I gotta give this a quick stir. Give my Brussels a check. Turn this down a little more. Really what I'm doing is just kind of simmering this and evaporating a lot of the water out of the cream, because I want this to be a nice, thick, super thick sauce, so that the super thick sauce can really fill the hole all the way, and it's what we're going for. Okay, those Brussels are, let's call that done. I'm gonna call those done. Get my handy dandy safety equipment. Do you think this video would be more fun if I was wearing safety goggles and a lab coat? Like Bill Nye-ish? I don't know. Bill Nye's an interesting guy. Oh, it's so hot in there. It's like 425 degrees. Okay, you see that? You see that? Look at that. Those are Brussels sprouts on this thing. It's great. They're done. I'm just going to set them over here on the side. And while they're there, cooling, this cream stuff is starting to get where it needs to go. I'm going to add a little salt. Some sea salt, pink salt. I'm going to do a little pink salt on the Brussels because, minerals and mix it up and whatnot. So let's just grab that up there. All right. Just a little bit of salt. You don't want too much. And then I'm going to throw some black pepper on there because, everything's better with black pepper. Let's grind that up. Now, is there a difference between, getting a shaker of this stuff and grinding yourself? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. What I do know is that I can control the size of the pepper granules, which is neato, I guess. All right, so this is a pretty good consistency here. It's kind of thick. Now, I'm going to be adding a ton of butter, and a ton of Parmesan cheese. And that's really going to turn this into a pasty-ish kind of substance. But that's okay. That's kind of what we want. We want nice and thick. All right, first things first. Our noodles. Now, again, you're cooking your noodles. You drain them and all that. And mine are drained and ready to go. So in with my noodles. All right, noodles are in. That, of course, brought the temperature down because, you know, they're a thing. And now I need to switch to the tongs. All right, so let's get the tongs in here. I'm gonna get these noodles and mix this up. I'm gonna give this a little bit of time prior to adding my butter and stuff. So it can kind of reach its temperature. Wow, this is looking really good. Also looking good is the concept of having more of my martini. Okay. Martinis are great. All right. We're gonna need a little bit of parsley. This is Italian parsley, which is flat. There's also curly parsley, which is not flat. I have fond memories of being a child and going to Conrad's, which is a breakfasty Denny's kind of place that smelled like tobacco. It smelled like cigarettes, I mean, specifically. And in fact, when I was a kid, they had a vending machine where you could buy cigarettes. It was totally fun. Fun for the whole family. Anyway, pretty much any dish you get like scrambled eggs and bacon, and it would have some curly parsley on the side. I don't really know why they did that. Like, did anyone ever eat the parsley? I don't think so. And if you look at it as like an aesthetic garnish, like a little sprig of curly parsley is an acceptable aesthetic thing. Does not make any sense to me at all. It's weird. Super weird. I don't know. All right. This parsley is, chopped. Boom. Okay. Back to the sauce of things here. All right, this is doing what it does. Now it's time to take this to the next level. All right, how do we take it to the next level? Quick and easy. We add, check this out, 3 tablespoons of butter. Like that's a lot of butter. We'll just throw that in there. That's what we want with the butter. I got butter all over my hand. And cheese. Here we go. 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. It can be grated, it can be shredded, it can be whatever you want because we're basically melting it. But really, I think you want grated or shredded. Yeah, grated or shredded or shaved. I guess, the strips of it. It doesn't really matter. All right, now that I have all this goodness in here, we really need to mix it up. And the hard part is going to be getting that chunk of butter to melt quick and easy. Actually, maybe it's not that hard. I don't know. It's not hard. I made that up. I lied. It's totally not hard. Oh, look at that. Can you see that? Like, look at this. This is like vegetables covered in fat. Fundamentally, is kind of what we're looking at here, which is great. And sausage. There's sausage in there. And like I said, this is totally crap sausage. You can use good sausage. You should use good sausage. I'm just lazy. Did you know Vons will deliver all of your groceries to your front door for $4 frickin', right? Like $4, and some person has to go around the whole damn store and find all your crap and stick all your crap in bags, drive it to your house, and carry it to your front door for $4. This is revolutionary. Now, I know you probably have lots of concerns about that. I know I did. First and foremost, how are they at picking produce? Well, you know what? Generally okay. They either haven't been great with avocados, or the avocados themselves have not been great. But other things are fine. Like tomatoes and other vegetables that you might order are fine. They turn out okay. Like these Brussels sprouts. Now it's weird, because they make you quantize the amount of stuff you buy. So, for example, let's say you want to buy Brussels sprouts, which I did. I bought those at the store, and they came to my house for $4. If you want to buy some vegetables, some Brussels sprouts, normally you'd go to the store and you'd take what you want and you'd stick it in a bag, and then you'd be done. Time out here. I got to add a bunch of parsley to this thing. Okay. When you order the stuff, since it's online, you're not talking to a human or whatever, you have to like stipulate how much stuff you want, right? Okay. Seems simple. Now, Brussels sprouts are billed by the pound, but they have to quantize it. Like, you can only order by whatever unit of measure they offer. So, for Brussels sprouts, it's how many pounds do you want? You cannot buy 1.5 pounds of Brussels sprouts, which is the ideal amount for 2 people to eat. Okay? That's the right number for 2 people. 1.5 pounds. Okay? No, not an option. You must order 1 pound, or you must order 2 pounds. Which is total crap. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest, right? Who wants to order an extra half pound of Brussels sprouts if they're not going to eat? So what do you do with that? You can be a little aggressive when you're kind of cleaning up the Brussels sprouts. You know, cut off a little more of the crappy bits at the end, or you cook more Brussels sprouts. You know, I don't know, but they have all these quantization things. Okay, so this looks great. It's basically done. I'm just gonna wait for the parsley to kind of come up to temperature a little bit and essentially wilt a little bit. Also, since I'm super paying attention, I'm going to turn off of the oven because we no longer need the oven because our Brussels sprouts have been sitting here for a while and they are ready to go. It's almost that time. Yeah, 30 minutes. This is a 30-minute deal. 40 minutes, I guess, with the drinking up front. Because, you know, sometimes it takes to drink a little bit of booze, especially when you're not a bartender. My hat's off to people who are bartenders, not me. I'm not. It's not really good. I like olives. They're good. Okay. This is done. Let me give it a little bit of a mix. I'll bring it over to the camera and you all can see kind of what we're working with here. Oh, it's good. Oh, it's really good. And like I said, this dish is bomb diggity. Go to the internet, to the internet site of google.com and type into the box that appears on your screen, Sam the Cooking Guy sausage penne. You'll find it. It's easy, and he does it differently, and he did it on TV, and I think he put it in a cookbook and sold it because, like, you know, that's what you do. I don't know. I don't actually know. I do know he's from San Diego, and I mentioned him in video 1, so I'm going to go ahead and mention him now again in video 2. Oh, this stuff's all stuck to the tongs because there's cheese. All right, when we actually serve this, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to serve it. I'm going to serve it now. After I eat these olives. I've been sitting in booze. Wow, they're good. I like olives. Man, I got a wicked buzz. I only drink on this show. It's crazy. I have a wicked buzz right now. Oh. Just drinking straight vodka. It's a thing. It's different than straight whiskey, which I normally drink. So I don't really know where I'm going with that. I'll do the beer and stuff. Beer. Okay. There we go. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, please. Please get all over my plate and get some of that. Hey, how many carbs does this have? Net carbs. Oh, like freaking nothing. It's great. It's full of sausage and scraping do. I don't know if my sound setup is picking up the really doing justice to all of the deliciousness here. Let me actually pour a little bit of sauce. Normally, I think I put too much cream this time, but whatever. Normally, you don't have much in the way of liquid sauce to add. Let's talk about sloppy. Yeah, I'll eat the Brussels sprouts. I'll put them on another thing. All right, we need a little cheese to garnish this with. And in fact, some people, maybe not me, but some people, fuck it, I'll do it too. Take a little more of this parsley here. Cut that shit up. Okay, great. Got a little extra parsley here. Yeah, this is for garnish. This is how you should garnish with parsley. That stupid sprig of curly parsley is dumb. This is something you'll actually eat as part of the dish, so I'm really gonna mince the crap out of this. Okay, great. Minced it up. A little bit of whoop whoop on the top there. Fantastic. A little more cheese. Oh, that reminds me, since the Brussels sprouts are out of the oven, I'm also going to, like, you know, add cheese to those, because that's what we do. All right, a little bit of Salt Bay of the cheese there. Yeah, that's so freaking stupid. I don't know. That guy's got a steakhouse in South America somewhere or something. It's like super expensive. Like, you can't do that anymore. You can't charge stupid amounts of money for steakhouses. It doesn't work. I don't care the fact that the beef ribs, like the bone just comes out. Of course it comes out. You slow cook to the beef. I can do that in my crock pot. It is not a unique thing. All right, here we go. You guys get to see the meat now. Oh, if I can move this thing out of the way. And by meat, I mean the dish. Of course, I spent lots of time paying attention to, what do you call it? Plating. Yeah, plating. Totally my thing. There we go. There's our Parmesan penne. It looks like a thing. I don't know. Good, bad, it's a thing. But it's delicious, and it's one of my favorite things ever to eat. Especially if you're trying to maintain a low-carb lifestyle. All right, well, thanks for tuning in to episode 3 of you watching me cook my shit for dinner. And maybe I'll do this again next week, and I'm not sure what I'll cook. But if you have any suggestions, I'll post this like on the thing. Go ahead and leave them in the comments, and I'll consider them. No guarantees, but I will consider them. All right, thanks for tuning in, and I hope you enjoy eating stuff too.